So we're hauling up our backpacks up the hill, living the van life in the rain, walking 8 kilometers to post to get groceries, get food. Goodies, RV goodies and snacks. Oh wow! This is the loot we got from going like 10 kilometers out there in the wilderness. In the city wilderness, in the rain, in the cold, fighting the elements just to get our treasure food.
Treasure food, yes.
We got
It
here
was 6 kilometers.
apple pie, salmon salad, crunchy crackers, wasabi nuts, another wasabi peas, carrots. Who order healthy food? Did you order healthy food?
Wasabi.
Did you order healthy food?
Me?
Did you order these carrots?
Yes.
Ah, alright.
Hello.
Hi, YouTubers.
Hello. So. Well. This is Patrick.
Hello. And this is Petra.
Yes.
And we are a couple of vannings. We are a couple of vanners. A van couple.
We are our villages.
Delicious.
Our villages.
So, we like to introduce ourselves a little bit better from the Netherlands, so excuse the
poor English.
Sloppy English, yes. Poor English. Sludgy. Sludgy English, probably. Slurry.
Yes.
Bear with us, maybe it will be better in time.
Yes.
But you will probably hear a lot of mumbling, rumbling, stumbling, and other stuff like that. Well, the Netherlands is in Europe, as most of you know, and we've been living together in Amsterdam for about almost
Almost
8 years now.
7.
8.
Well, almost 8. But now it's 7.
This is the eighth year.
Yes, 7 years and 8 months.
Oh, you've been counting. Well, we lived in a house in Amsterdam. It had everything we needed, except with one flaw, that it cost monthly rent, and we were totally fed up with paying rent, especially since we've been getting more and more interested in minimalistic lifestyles, living in a van. It just made more sense, living in a van or an RV, a motorhome.
Yep.
Just living in something that you readily buy and is yours, as long as you pay your road taxes, that is. Otherwise they confiscate your vehicle.
Yes.
But as long as you do that, you're fine. You have something that's yours, that you own. I myself have been living in rental facilities. I rented rooms, I rented houses, I rented a houseboat, I rented apartments, and finally we rented a house.
Yep.
And also Petra, you also rented your whole life?
Yep.
And
Yep.
in the beginning you think, rent gives freedom, rent, you just quit whenever you want, you just have 1 month notice. But you don't realize that you're paying month after month after month sometimes amounts to 6,000 euros a year in our case.
Yes.
And it's gone. It's thrown out of the window. I've paid rent since I was 18. Now I'm 30
8.
something. 38.
Yes.
Huh? I'm 38. What happened to the years? Well, see, that's how, like, half of my life I've been paying rent. And Petra is only 24, so she only paid rent a few years.
No.
And it just doesn't make any sense anymore. So, and this house in Amsterdam was our
Pride and joy.
pride and joy. We imagined when
It's
we
the best
rented it.
house. If you ever get a house in Amsterdam, it's the best house a person can have.
Why was it such a good house? Why did we think we would stay there forever
Well,
and ever?
first of all, it had a garden, which is very rare in Amsterdam.
Yeah, facing
yeah.
south, so
Facing
always
south.
facing sun.
Yep.
It had a
Everything.
clear view. It had a great park.
Yep.
Park in front of it.
Until we got the letter. They are going to build on it.
Sticks and bricks. Built like a house of cards, of concrete.
Yeah. So that's the son taken care of.
It also was a tiny house. It had
A tiny house.
it was ground floor. It was really cool in Amsterdam. It's really rare.
Yeah.
Before that, we lived in a huge apartment owned by Petra, which I handily moved into. And then we moved into this tiny home.
Mhm.
It was only like less than 30 square feet.
Mhm.
Everything. So we thought we will never fit in there. That was your concern mostly,
Mhm.
with a lot of stuff that she gathered over the years. My stuff was a little less because I switched houses so many times that I already was living minimalistically in a way without knowing I was. But still we thought, will it fit in that house? And eventually it did. We got rid of a lot of stuff, but we also accumulated a lot of stuff again. We bought,
Yeah.
we spent like 5,000 euros on new floors, new furniture, a new washing machine, a new fridge.
Yep.
We had the place redone by a redunner. We fixed up the walls. I don't know how you call that.
Yeah.
Because the company who rents the houses didn't want to fix it up, so we had to pay for that. We fixed up the garden. We put in a fence. We put in a bench.
Yep.
We bought a bird bath. We bought lockers, storage lockers, like 6 of them, because we thought they last forever. Great quality. We bought a huge bed. We built a bed out of pallets.
Yep.
Really firm and would also last like 100 years or more. A lot of stuff, and we bought a big desk because I work a lot on the computer. I thought I need a big desk with a big desk chair, so no expenses were too high, and then one day we just put it all out there on the street, gave it a second life. And that was really nice because you put it out there in Amsterdam, because we could have sold everything on internet,
Yep.
on the selling sites, and just we lived in a poor neighborhood in Amsterdam, so we just put it on the street, and while we were putting it out, people came asking, "Oh, please, can we have it? Do you have more?" And really, you put it out, people took it, people grabbed it.
Yeah. It's gone.
It was gone. Even like our filthy vinyl floors,
Gone.
we didn't even clean them. They took them, everything.
Everything.
Lamps, You had a big nice lamp.
Yep.
Got a second life, and it really feels great because we felt the stuff was too much, especially at the end, and we even moved in. We moved out of our big living room and we moved into our small bedroom because it was facing no neighbors on any side.
Yeah.
So and the living room had neighbors, and of course you have a lot of noisy neighbors in Amsterdam, and that was something Petra had struggled with all her life, with noisy neighbors. So
Good.
and now we don't have any neighbors at all.
No, we moved into the small room to practice for the RV.
Oh yeah, that's better story. Yes, we moved into the small room to practice for the RV.
Yes, so we could get used to living in a small space. And, well, it went rather well, so the transition was smooth.
We started looking for a van beginning of 2015. We started following a lot of YouTubers out there doing it, mostly in the United States, some in Europe. And we really got interested. We got hooked by the
Lifestyle.
the lifestyle, the minimalism, the freedom. Just getting rid of stuff, clothing, other stuff you don't need. So we started our search but we didn't have a lot of budget. So we literally started out with like a budget of €1,000, and it almost took us a year to triple that amount. And we really had the feeling like this is the year we're gonna have to do it. If we want to do it, we have to do it this year. We have to get rid of the house this year and just start fresh in January 2016. We want to be in the van. That was our goal.
Yep.
So we set it, and then the months passed. October came, November came, still no van. December came, no van. So we were really thinking, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
So
are
we
we
took-
going to be homeless people?
Yeah, we took a bold step. We quitted our rent. We gave our notice. So we had to be out of the house December 31st. That was when we had to turn over the key.
Yeah.
And then we had something like, if we don't find a van, but we were sure, in a way we were sure we were going to find a van because we'd seen a lot of vans already. And we were like, either we buy a van, any van, or we buy a car or something.
Yeah.
We're not going to be in the house anymore.
Nope.
So then, I think it was 2 weeks into December, we saw a van, called immediately, and
This is it. We'll give you a tour later.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was still available for purchase. So we went there. It was all the way in the east of the country. So we went by train. We bought a single ticket. And we really said to ourselves, if the van looks as great as it looks in the pictures, then we're
buy it.
driving it home.
Yeah.
We
And we
buy
did.
it. And we did. It was really checked all our boxes.
Yeah.
What were the boxes that we had?
Well, the boxes. It had to have a kitchen, it had to have workspace, it had to have a bed, it had to have standing height, so you can stand up in the van.
I had to fit also behind the steering wheel.
Of course.
Because we tested a few smaller vans, I didn't fit. My belly didn't fit behind the steering wheel.
Belly. Yes.
So that was the fitting
biggest
test was the biggest test,
challenge,
literally biggest challenge. So we started out checking out the old Volkswagens, the Vanagons, the T3s. I did fit in there. I drove a few of them, but it was a tight fit. So we upgraded one level from the VWs into this Mercedes campervan 207 diesel. It's a 1983 one, and we will show it to you later.
Yeah. We'll show it you
in daylight.
in daylight. Yeah.
It's now first 10 days into January. We're on our second campground. First we camped in Amsterdam at a campsite, and now we're at a farmer's campsite, a little bit out of Amsterdam. We boondocked a few times, which was really also
Exciting. Nerve-wracking.
Yes. And we tested out small stuff, you know, like does the gas work, does the electricity work, can we load up our, can we charge our laptops, can we charge our phones.
Yep.
So far everything's been going great.
Yep.
It's still a bit getting used to the living the van life, because in a way you have still the feeling like in the first days, like I have to go back to a home or something. I have to stay in the vicinity of Amsterdam. I can't leave yet. I have to be here, but we don't have to be here. We can be anywhere.
Yep.
And in the past we used to drive to the beach, and then we had to drive
Home.
at the Planet. We had to drive there, we had to drive home, and traffic. And now we drive
Go
there.
to the beach.
We go to the beach
Stay there.
as long as we want.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
So we had walks on the beach.
Yeah.
We had coffee on the beach, sex on the beach.
A bit cold.
And,
January.
well, wishful thinking. Beep.
Beep.
So, but we try to keep it as much the same at the moment. The things we did in the house, we try to do in the van. So we want to watch our series. We want to have the same kind of food. Small difference now, we park near the restaurant and then get our Italian food, and we used to call a number and order takeout.
Yep.
A home delivery, I don't know what you call it.
Now we take it in, not take it out, but take it in.
Yes. And during the planning of everything, we were trying into work because we're both pretty young. We still have to work. Work to pay for all this crap.
Yeah.
We have to pay for everything, so we have to pay the campsites, we have to pay for the gas, we have to pay for the repairs that are bound to happen. So we need work, and I already found the perfect job I could do as a freelance copywriter, web designer. But right before the van life started, the contract ended. So first you make plans like, I'm gonna make this much a month, and then you can stay at the campsite also this long, and now it's just more boondocking, less campsites.
Yep.
And hope to find new challenges. And Petra, what your view on this?
The same. Yep. Totally.
Two peas in a pot, huh? Patrick,
Yes.
Petra.
Exactly.
So what else shall we tell our viewers? Because I've been rambling a bit.
Expect more of that.
Yes, we try to put out videos, a lot of daily, at least weekly, but hopefully daily. Bear with us with the camera quality, the sound quality, everything, because it was such a rush starting the van life. The day we bought it, the second day I toppled out of the van. I bruised my knee, I had to lay on bed for 2 weeks on end, whilst we were preparing to move out. So it was really stressful. A lot of things came down onto Petra's shoulders,
Yes.
and I was just directing her, like, do this, do that, which was really nice for me. And but it was really inconvenient because at the moment I didn't know, can I still drive the van in time? Do I have to boondock on the parking lot until my knee improves?
Yes.
And after like 3 weeks I could walk a little bit again, and I even tried to climb back into the van, and that's all worked out. Though I must say, things that you don't expect in advance, you plan all kinds of stuff, and then something like that happens, and all your plans, woof,
In the water.
in the water.
Mhm.
So we also have a little bell in this RV, in this Buddha temple drive on wheels,
Yes.
which reminds us to stay in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really hard to do, but we're gonna give it a go.
For him. Yes.
For me, yes. Also, my plan is on the road to find more time in nature to write my books.
Mm-hmm.
I write Dutch novels and poetry. And for Petra,
I'm gonna do a lot more photography. Mainly, I guess, nature. For now. But if anyone has a freelance job for us, we're your...
yes, because that's another good point that Petra is making here. You, Petra, you.
Yes, me.
Because at this current economy, and probably the future, is you see a lot of people living at place A and driving to place B,
Yeah.
and that means making a lot of extra hours in the day to get to that place and to get back home.
Mm.
And we,
A lot of fuel.
yes, and I did that. I was that person. I got up at 5 a.m. to be at a place, arrive at my work at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to work until 6 or 7, and I had to get back, and I was home at 10 p.m. and then having to do it all over again.
Yep.
And that's perfectly fine for a few months, or even a year, but it gets tiresome, and you lose your sharpness, and you lose your will to live. But
Yes.
it's really doesn't make any sense. And now, while living the van life, you just can go anywhere, and you can park near a workplace. And if you get a contract for a month, or 3 months, or 6 months,
Yeah.
or pregnant maternity leave, you can just take the job, do the hours, and then split
Bye-bye.
without having to move there,
Yeah.
spending 5,000 euros again to
Decorate.
rent a house again,
Yep.
and then lose the job or lose the contract, don't get steady contract,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to do it all over again.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's another reason for us, and because we really believe that it's the way to go. It not having to pay rent or not having to pay mortgage really gives you a lot of freedom, and you only need to earn a little bit of money to get by pretty well, and everything that you hopefully make more, that you can put
Yeah.
away for repairs, or you can save up for
A rainy day.
a newer van or a bigger motorhome, or maybe you want a smaller one or a younger one. So that's part of that's part of it too.
Yeah.
It all seems to there's so many dots that all seem to connect
Mm-hmm.
by doing this lifestyle, and we hope to give you the van tour really soon, so you can see what the van is about.
Yeah.
And sorry for the long rambles, but yes, there will probably come more and more. I'll try to edit it out a bit and let her talk a bit more, but we'll see. We'll get there, right? Someday she'll ramble and I'll be
Quiet.
quiet. Oh, you want to ramble a bit more?
Like a mouse.
Do a ramble.
Rumble!
Alright. Talk to you later, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.